Ho, 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 ho. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Ethan.
Do you like my festive intro?
Yeah, I do, yeah. You'll need to
Great.
add Christmas lights to the logo again.
God, it doesn't feel like that long since I last did that.
That was a year ago.
God, that's quite scary.
It's gone fast.
Was that for, we got a baby, we can feast. Joy to the world. Let's get into it, shall we?
So we did our second watch this morning whilst having some picky bits, because that's what this period is all about, isn't it? Picky bits.
Of course, yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot more the second time around because obviously we didn't have the pressure of watching it with all the family.
Yeah.
And when you're in a room full of non-fans, you just really want it to be good because you know that everyone else only watches this once a year at Christmas. That's the only time that I am able to make my family watch it. They all enjoyed it, to be fair.
They did. Yeah, they did. That's true.
We all sat there. Well, I was sat there like, you know, a couple of drinks in on Christmas Day thinking, please be good, please be good. They all enjoyed it. I don't know how much they understood it, but they all enjoyed it because it wasn't the most accessible thing for people who hadn't watched the last series, because obviously there was threads of like Villain Guard and
Ruby.
And well, yeah. I mean, luckily she only pops up for like 5 seconds.
Hi, Mum.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even long enough for anyone in the room to question it, although she got first billing, of course. But for us, like, I really enjoyed it. Should we get into it?
Yeah, I think we should.
Should I do a little summary?
Yes. The Goblin King returns for Christmas 2025. The Doctor and Ruby Sunday decide to feed him a diet of toxic mince pies and eggnog, and he explodes all over the town, killing him in the process.
So, Joy to the World is the 2024 Doctor Who Christmas special, featuring the 15th Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, and Nicola Coughlan as Joy Almondo. The episode begins with the Doctor arriving at the Time Hotel in the year 4202, an establishment that offers guests the unique experience of vacationing at various points in human history. During his stay, the Doctor teams up with Trev, a hotel employee, to investigate a mysterious briefcase. Really cool idea.
Yeah.
The whole concept of the Time Hotel is great. Visually, oh my God, the set that they created for the Time Hotel, wow.
It's that like classic Who thing, isn't it? Of like, they know they need one like central core set.
Yeah.
And that's the one that needs to be like the knockout one. And they definitely achieved that. I really like the premise of the story. And the idea of like the Doctor investigating like a mysterious briefcase in this like interplanetary like hotel with like without the staff helping him, you know, like the underdog thing of like having the male hotel staff helping him, and then again with
Anita.
Yeah, Anita. I just find it a bit baffling that this hotel, the places that people can go to, are like bizarre. I don't know if it's supposed to be a comment about why people would choose to go to these places, but like the Second World War, the assassination of Caesar, it's like, and the Blitz and things like that, it's like, why would people want to go to these places for fun? Like, where's like 1920s like Weimar Germany, or like the swinging 60s like parties, that kind of thing? Like, where's that?
Yeah, the Blitz. All the fun, none of the danger.
It's like, yeah. I mean, to be fair, in the promo stuff that's come out, they have been advertising like Miami and Giza and stuff like that, haven't they? So I guess that makes more sense. But in the episodes, the locations that we see are a bit crazy. Some of them are anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. I did love on the set all these different doors. It was very like Monsters, Inc., like behind every door is something different, and they really went to town on designing like as different doors as they could. Like there was like a Hobbit door, the Stone Age door. So the episode opens in World War II, and we meet a very randy World War II man.
Used to know someone who lived up that way. Long time ago.
Woman, was it?
2 women, in fact.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Basil.
His name's Basil. That was it. Yeah,
It's
Basil.
like, shut the window, Basil. There's a war on.
Yeah. And all of that looked great. Like the direction of the whole thing was really good. All the special effects and all the locations. Like, I mean, when you write in a script, visit Mount Everest or World War II or a moving train, it's not exactly going to be easy to pull off, but they did. It all looked fantastic.
I think visually and in terms of the direction and everything like that, it was all spot on. My only thing with the hotel bit was the bizarre difference between the outside, which is like a rather bleak like World War II cityscape, and then inside the hotel room where it's like she's sat there with her music on, she's playing cards, she's got all the chandeliers lit up, the Christmas trees on. It's like during a blackout, I think they turn all that stuff off. It's like festive whimsy. It's like, oh, you know, Yeah.
Oh, you know, war. That old
Well,
thing.
it's like they're like opulent, aren't they? Like wealthy, and maybe it's supposed to be like they're just having a nice time, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
And the Doctor bursts in.
And she's toasting a pumpkin latte. No? Okay.
Obviously, we saw this in the preview clip they released quite a while ago now. And the opening montage is really cool. We're like whizzing around to all these different places. World War II, Mount Everest, on the train where a woman's reading Murder on the Orient Express. And then a taxi where Joy is pulling up to Hotel Sandringham.
In London.
Yeah, that's funny.
Opposite Kongs.
Yeah. I mean, it's all great. Like, as an establishing, like, opener, it draws you in really quickly. I just made a note that I thought that overall, the marketing, like, gave away way too much of this episode. Obviously, we pretty much had this entire opening sequence already. So we've had it. We've seen it. I just was sat there thinking, they literally released these 6 minutes on YouTube months ago. It's just like, give us less. Like, they're so scared that we won't tune in, or the general audience just won't tune in if they don't release a 6-minute opener onto YouTube and then release like 4 minutes of one of the most exciting parts of the episode, which is the dinosaur bit, if they don't release that as part of Children in Need, instead of just filming something new. And then plus 2 or 3 trailers, plus an American trailer. You know, it's just too much. It's only 45 minutes. I feel like before we went into it, they gave us at least like 20 minutes of it. It felt like I'd seen.
I think when they had the dinosaur thing, like seeing that in context and watching the whole episode, knowing that inside the case is like a villain guard weapon, it's like that does take away some of the intrigue, doesn't it? Because the idea of the Doctor like just investigating this mysterious suitcase, us watching know immediately, oh, it's a villain guard weapon, so it's a bomb of some description or whatever. Do you know? It does take away the intrigue. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think the dinosaur clip they could have done without releasing that, I think. But I get why they did, you know, because it does build up hype. I mean, I'm always of the opinion that it's okay to have less. Like with Wild Blue Yonder, I loved the mystery of that and the uncertainty going into that because we knew it was going to be quite a creepy one. And I know this is a bit different. Like I said, it's like whimsical and Christmassy and stuff, but it's nice to see, not know everything when you go into it, you know?
Like, go back to the trailers they used to release. In 2007, the red button trailer for Voyage of the Damned, it's like mostly black because it keeps fading to black. It gives these little teasers, these little clips, a little taster of the drama and nothing else. And there was nothing else released. And it's like when that aired on Christmas Day, you had no choice. You didn't have 10 minutes of the episode on YouTube already weeks in advance to access. You just don't need it. Like, it's so annoying. But anyway.
Yeah.
And like the trailers, they just put in way too much. Like, even in the trailer, which baffled me, was the scene where the first victim of the suitcase disintegrates. They put that in the trailer. So you've got the clip of this man disintegrating. So, you know, this man comes on with a suitcase. Immediately, you know, at some point he's going to disintegrate.
Yeah.
And it's just, they just give you way too much. It's just it's so annoying. But anyway, I think the solution isn't that they're gonna start giving us less. The solution is that we should start watching less of these trailers and things. And there are fans that just, they analyze every frame. We just need to stop doing that, I think. But we're living in a new world. It's just everywhere. You can't avoid it.
I like to get clips of stuff, but yeah, it is a bit of a shame when things like Villain Guard being in it and knowing even what's inside the suitcase is like, we didn't need to know that before we went into it. You know, it would have been more interesting to have the mystery of that, I think, personally.
But anyway, sidetrack. We pick up with the 15th Doctor, then rewind a little bit, don't they? You meet the Doctor in his dressing gown and he lands in the Time Hotel and he's just after milk.
Refreshments for hotel guests only. Are you a guest at the hotel?
Nah, not me. I bring my own room.
Just need some milk.
Got a Navcom algorithm that homes in on fresh milk. I mean, I could just get a fridge.
Sorry, is that a toilet?
Is it a what?
You've got a newspaper?
And a coffee. Who takes a coffee to the loo?
I don't know. Each to their own.
I think Moffat's really good at like creating these really funny situations.
I've heard people say that he gets Shooty's Doctor really well, like the characterization of him. And I have to agree, like, I think Shooty is such a joy to watch. And if there's one thing that I think this episode demonstrates perfectly, it's that Shooty's like a really good Doctor. All the little bits that you see of him, like when he's not adventuring in this, like when he's staying at the hotel for a year and that sort of stuff, it's just, it feels so much like the Doctor to me already.
Yeah, the only thing I wrote at this point was, I feel like we've not spent enough time with this Doctor to really believe that like he's already on his own again. Like when Doctor Who first came back, Rose stayed for 2 series. It was nice to have that continuity of her at Christmas, that established world.
And there were a lot longer seasons as well.
And the seasons were longer, yeah. Yeah, so it was just a bit like, oh, like he's on his own already. I did get another little criticism that people are talking about online where it feels like this is retreading ground, but then people were arguing, saying that there's only so much ground that can be tread, you know. You're going to end up reusing ideas eventually, and Doctor Who's been around for so long that a lot of Doctor Who is reusing their old ideas in different ways. But like the whole thing where he's on his own and he needs someone and he's like learning how to stay in one place, they're all sort of ideas that they've done before.
I don't know. I mean, he's doing the same thing, but the circumstances are completely different and the setting's completely different.
He was very hesitant when he gets locked in that hotel room later on in the episode. He's like horrified at the thought of being stuck there for a year. Then he gets a job and he settles in, and then the montage shows him enjoying it more and more.
Yeah.
But at the start, I mean, like he literally shouts at himself, like he wants the fast route. How do I get to be you? The other Doctor he can't give him anything. He says, you'll find out. You need to take the long route. And he doesn't want to do that. And he gets angry. He spends a lot of his time trying to find other doors, trying to find shortcuts. And then he realizes he has to wait a year. And then he gets used to it. And he really enjoys that. Like he tells Anita to pull up a chair and, you know, and whereas before the Doctor said to him that he's such a loner and he's like running around so much he doesn't stop to even realize he's got no chairs in the TARDIS. He's you know, it's like he's always running about, whizzing about. There's no moments of quiet, and I think that was what this episode dealt with, which I liked.
I didn't mind that it was the Doctor getting used to everyday life, really, because I think it's done so differently. Like narratively, it serves a different purpose. It
had such a huge emotional payoff where the Doctor and Anita create this like really strong bond, and that was beautiful to see. That was done so nicely. That's my tangent over.
Okay.
What's your name?
Trev, sir.
You're working for me now, Trev. Stroll with me. Keep it casual, like you haven't noticed anything dangerous.
No, I haven't noticed anything dangerous.
Then why aren't you strolling better?
I'm pretending to not notice something I really haven't noticed. I haven't perfected a stroll for that.
What do you think about Trev?
I thought that Trev was very endearing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a really sad backstory there.
Yeah, I agree.
As a character, there felt like there was a lot of injustice there.
Yeah.
And like the Doctor says, we're going on a secret mission, and he says, I'm going to let you down the least that I've ever let anyone down. It's like, oh. But it's quite interesting because we find out that the Silurian manager, he has quite a sad backstory, and the hotel sort of took him in. But yeah, they the Doctor and Trev, they spot somebody in the lobby of the hotel, and like in true Moffat style, something that's like doesn't seem very relevant becomes really important and like the crux of something. So obviously we mentioned before that this hotel set was phenomenal. And like the camera pans up and you see all these floors. There's like hundreds of floors. And the Doctor thinks that there's a man in the atrium that's weird because not once did he look around or look up.
Yeah.
And he said it's his first visit. And the Doctor says that anyone would look up on their first visit. And I thought that was really, really clever. He must have been the first victim, the first thing that the suitcase killed, because later on, at the end of the episode, they do a montage of all the victims of the suitcase. He's the first victim, you know?
Well, when the suitcase releases its grip on him, he seems a bit dazed, doesn't he?
Yeah, you don't really find out anything more about him.
Yeah. It's funny, like the suitcase seems to, when it like latches onto you with it's like a handcuff sort of thing.
Yeah, handcuffs.
Like it seems to be like a parasite, because when that happens to people, the way that their eyes blink changes and their behavior changes, so that they become almost like single-minded about achieving their goal, and they become like a mouthpiece of this like weapon somehow.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, like, I wish that they'd shown that like mechanical, like biomechanical, like relationship thing happening a bit more closely, because I don't really see how like a metal handcuff could do that. But also I get why they do it. It's so that it looks normal. And I suppose the idea of like someone having like a briefcase with like a handcuff so that they don't lose it, or so it can't be snatched off them, that's quite in itself, like that's the sort of thing you see in like a spy movie, isn't it? Or like an espionage sort of theme.
And it was definitely giving spy film vibes, especially with like the music cues and stuff. And the Doctor kept talking about him being on a secret mission.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like a pastiche of it, isn't it? It's like parodying it a little bit.
Yeah,
in like a self-aware sort of way, rather than like a completely seriously way.
There was a few Easter eggs. One of them that I really liked was Mr. Ben's clothes in the background. And it was like a shop in the lobby of the hotel where you go and you dress up.
I thought it said Benny.
No, it said something like Mr. Ben's clothes, which is a cartoon character that appeared on the BBC. Everyone makes the joke that he was a Time Lord. The
Time Lord in Terror of the Autons, dressed a bit like Mr. Ben, with like a suit and a bowler hat.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got like a magic costume shop, isn't it? It's like his TARDIS in the animated version.
Oh, does he? I don't know. I've not seen it.
And then
I just know the character.
A magic door where, upon donning a costume, he steps through a magic door and is transported to a world related to the outfit that he's in.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's fun.
So I loved that Easter egg.
Right, okay, I see. Right. And that also kind of explains how everyone stood in the atrium like wearing different like costumes from different periods.
You have to dress up before you go through the door, the portal. And the Doctor says that it's all of human history now available as mini breaks.
Yeah.
Some really great dialogue to sort of describe this concept.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of exposition, but I think it all works, you know?
Yeah, I think it does too.
The Doctor says that they're doing package deals for all of history's biggest hits. So that's why there's a door for like the fall of Troy specifically. So it's not just places and time zones, it's events as well that you can visit, which is a cool idea. We don't really find out much about the hotel itself, but we know it's not sinister, because when we were watching it for the second time, you said to me, does Villain Guard own the hotel? But they don't.
No, they're just using it to test their weapon.
Exactly. They're using it for their own gain.
Yeah.
Sort of infiltrating it.
It's interesting to me that there's no, in the script, there's no dialogue that hints that this has been done before. Like, if you're a villain and you want to cause trouble across history, surely like a time hotel's like the perfect target for that sort of thing. Like,
yeah, they were very easy to infiltrate, really.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it.
I mean, unless they have got security and we just don't see it, which is, I guess that's quite likely. But like, I don't know. It's just my sci-fi brain thinking about it too much. But I was wondering about it. Like, surely the implications here are like really massive.
Yeah.
If tourists can just come and go as they please, it's not like with the Time Lords. Like they've got a strict policy of non-intervention, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
But this is just like any old Joe Bloggs can walk in and go on a holiday to like whenever, you know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah.
I guess the idea is a bit too delicious to get caught up in stuff like that. But I like to imagine they've got like a whole security area before you get to the hotel.
Yeah, it's probably
like,
not. Yeah, I get
airport security.
I know why it wasn't covered. I'm just saying, like it has a lot of that they could do a lot with it in future. You know.
Yeah.
Imagine the monk running around in there, the meddling monk.
Oh,
He'd have a field day.
We see the suitcase man. He goes to the bar and he says,
"Starseed will bloom and the flesh will rise."
He takes his first victim that we see on screen, the barman. You see that the suitcase is only interested in upgrading its access. was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
A sentient suitcase. And that's explored a little bit more when they go to the dinosaur bit and the Doctor manages to get the suitcase off of Joy. The handcuffs becomes like a serpent that writhes and like tries to strike the Doctor. Trev is quite short-lived, bless him.
Yeah,
because he quite quickly gets given the suitcase by the barman, and Trev gives the suitcase to the manager, and Trev
the
dies.
Silurian chap.
I was very sympathetic to Trev. I don't know why. He just seems like this guy that had been dealt a couple of crappy cards, and you think when you meet the Doctor, things are going to get better, and like, you know, his character will have some sort of positive impact, but it doesn't really. He gets uploaded to the suitcase, but that felt a little bit macabre to me, a little bit like the ghost print in Silence of the Library.
What I said before about being stupid, don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
Of course I won't. Of course I won't tell them.
Don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
I won't tell them. I said I won't.
Don't tell the others, they'll only laugh.
I'm not going to tell them.
Don't tell the others, they'll only
She's
laugh.
looping now, the pattern's degrading.
I can't think. I don't know. I scream.
I don't know how I feel about any of that stuff. Like, we'll get to it towards the end, but all the stuff about like after you die, things happen to you. Like, I don't see how it could ever be a good thing in any way, but we'll talk about it more in detail, like with Joy and stuff towards the end.
Yeah, anyway. So the Doctor then bursts in because he follows the manager who's now got the suitcase.
Yeah.
And that's when we catch up to the pre-title, to where we were at the pre-titles. There's some great dialogue in this scene where it's like a standoff. Joy, the manager, the Doctor, and then Anita as well. She keeps popping in.
Can someone please tell me what is going on?
Well,
Why is there a lizard man in my room?
I'm so sorry. This has never happened before.
I'm so sorry. This has never happened before.
But she seems a bit like, Anita's a bit like
She's
done
not
with
shocked. Yeah. It's like she's seen worse at this hotel.
it. Yeah.
And she's like, look, I'm just going to put these towels in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's so funny. This whole scene is so funny.
She's not getting involved because it all happens at once, doesn't it? Like, the Doctor walks in just as Joy's pulling out like a hairdryer and pointing it at the Silurian like it's a gun.
Yeah.
And
the Doctor's like, good work. Keep him covered.
yeah.
It's so
funny.
quick. All the dialogue is so fast.
Yeah.
And like when you're watching it a second time, I know we were like Christmas Day drunk on our first watch. But even if we weren't, I feel like you'd watch it again and you'd pick up on more dialogue that you missed. There was jokes that I completely missed that I got the second time that I was laughing out loud at.
It's
And
very funny.
I think
this scene's very funny.
Is a testament to Moffat's style, his writing. It's so quick. It just bombards you with jokes and witty lines that you can't really process all of them on the first watch. But yeah, this scene was crafted really, really well. It's all about the suitcase, isn't it?
Yeah.
And in my head was just that TikTok sound. I want my suitcase.
I like my suitcase. I have to go to school now.
I like my suitcase.
And I could see it a mile off. I was like, Joy, please do not do this. Right?
Yeah,
do
step
not do
back.
this right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll take the suitcase. And she grabs it.
Shut up, the two of you. I'm taking the case.
no.
What's this? What's this on my wrist? Look at this.
Just stay very still. Let me see.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, so when the Doctor refuses to take the suitcase, but he's nearby, the Silurian guy starts to like say stuff like, we see power in you, like we need you, and that kind of stuff, and tries to get the Doctor to like tempt it. Yeah.
He's a higher authority.
And then it's clear that like these characters, whenever they have the suitcase, they're clearly not themselves. They're talking as the whatever the power is behind the weapon. Do you know?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's like the suitcase is a parasite with its own voice.
Exactly. Yeah, it is a parasite, definitely, and it uses its host for its own gain. And then Joy becomes like really sinister, and she's like to the manager, she's like, "You'll be dead in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Pop yourself on the bed before you have a nasty fall." I found this scene emotional as well. I mean, maybe I'm just a sap and you're not. But like when this Silurian was dying, like Trev, I was like, I felt so sad for him. And The doctor says to him, like, you're such a proud race. And
I get that bit. I understand that.
I thought you wouldn't. I thought you'd want to see him in his cave and see his life and his family. And
no, because this is a bit different, because they're talking about when he was young, aren't they? And about how he was lost. And then he obviously stumbled across this doorway by accident and found his way into the hotel. And I think with this, I think it's emotional. It's not cry worthy, but like it's emotional, and I get it. Again, it is a little bit like we've only met this character just now.
I think it's more just ramping up how evil this suitcase is. It's like burning through people. Like there's no tomorrow. Like,
and we sort of feel like Joy's next.
Yeah, exactly.
And I get that. It's showing us like the threat of it all, which is fine.
It's establishing the stakes, isn't it?
Yeah. So I do see that, definitely.
Moffat loves the line about mansplaining, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. That and the browser history.
There was no browser history in this one, thank God. But there was mansplaining.
There didn't need to be a browser history joke in this one. But yeah, I mean, I agree. He likes his, yeah. But I did like the Doctor unashamedly saying, "I'm the Doctor, honey." Mansplaining is like whatever it was that he said.
Honey, the Doctor's in the room. It's mansplain central.
Yeah.
I like the briefcase opening scene. I thought that was really clever.
Please reseal the Starseed containment unit within 20 seconds, or the current case holder will be disintegrated with extreme prejudice.
Hello, excuse me.
I'm thinking.
Well, can you close the case and think?
I'm a very visual person.
But it's going to disintegrate me.
Good. You care about dying again. That means the controller's loosened.
But I'm actually going to die.
Not for several seconds. Just live in the moment.
Please just close the case.
What is this? What is this for? Why would you bring this to the Time Hotel?
Close it.
I feel like I'm missing something obvious.
Close the case.
Quiet, please. I don't like being rushed. There. Closed. Bags of time.
To complete closure of the Starseed containment unit, please enter your 4-digit security code, or the current case holder will be disintegrated.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
Yeah, there's some exposition about like using the TARDIS, re-engaging the causal nexus in the hotel, but the time zones are physically connecting. Sometimes you don't really need that much exposition, and there is a lot here. Like that's just part of it. But anyway, the future Doctor comes running in to sort of interrupt him, which I was like, okay, that's good, and tells him the code and takes Joy out the room with the suitcase and leaves our Doctor locked in the suitcase, locked in the room.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts his slow journey. But there's a really, really cool bit of dialogue between the two Doctors where he's like,
how does this work? How do I get to be you?
The long way round.
Yes, how long?
You'll find out.
What do I do? Where do I go?
You will find out.
Oh, do you see? This is why nobody likes you. You have to be mysterious all the time. That's why everyone leaves you. That is why you were always alone.
And it was really cleverly done how, from the perspective of our Doctor, the Doctor that's about to be locked in the hotel room, he shouts all these things and the camera's on him. But when that Doctor completes the year at the hotel, you see the same scene play out from a different angle, and the camera focuses on the future Doctor, and you can see him visibly upset and hurt by these words. Gives a whole new context to the scene. It was amazing. I really like this because it does like build upon the characterization of the Doctor, like mourning the loss of Ruby and being alone and learning to not be so shut off.
Yeah, I just think it's nice to get a bit more time with him. Like you get more of these character moments where you show how they act in different situations as you watch more of his episodes. And I just think it all did Shooty's Doctor a massive amount of justice. Like seeing him work through this sort of stuff.
We were sort of lacking an episode that was Shooty-centric.
Yeah, exactly.
We never got a Doctor Central one, which you usually do, because they usually they have two different crews out, and one of them will be companion heavy and the other will be Doctor heavy. And we had a lot of companion heavy episodes without the Doctor.
Yeah, subsequently, this next part of the episode is my favourite bit of the episode, and probably one of my favourite segments of any Shooty episode we've ever had. And it's so nice that you get a bit more time with his Doctor when it slows down a little bit for this segment when he's living at the hotel.
Yeah, definitely. The Doctor stays. He rents a room for a year because he has a leaflet that says on Christmas 2025 in a hotel in New York, there is a door opening, a portal. But it's nice that he chooses to stay at the Sandringham. The montage is so funny where the doctor's serving food, the doctor's using the Sonic to control a mop, so the mop is mopping on its own.
Yeah.
And Anita's just like, she just goes along with it.
Yeah, she just gets on with her job.
Lockers in 28.
Is this armed?
You said you'd fix my sat nav.
I did.
It doesn't take me where I want to go.
But it takes you where you need to go.
And why is my car blue now?
There's a theory that has spurred out of this episode. Her sat nav takes her to where she needs to go, not where she wants to go.
Right.
Which is like the TARDIS. And also, he painted her car blue, like the TARDIS. There are fan theories that Mrs. Flood is Anita because she's got a blue door. These are all just like threads that people are like tying together as things that might be linked, but they might not. But anyway.
Interesting though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I like the idea that Mrs. Flood is just an evil bitch, that she's like the Rani.
Yeah.
Or some sort of evil person. Also, we had a Christmas card from Anita Dobson this year.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Thanks to our very good friends David and Ash.
Yes.
Who attended Pandorica, the convention in Bristol, and they met Anita and said that we weren't able to be there because we tried to, but we couldn't get tickets. And asked her to write us a Christmas card.
Yeah, so
you
nice.
can imagine opening a Christmas card from Anita Dobson. I nearly passed out.
And inside it says, "Merry Christmas, boys. I am the Rani XX."
I love that. And we also got
it didn't really say that.
Equally as iconic Christmas card from David and Ash, which was Mrs. Remington in a Santa hat.
Merry Christmas, boys.
Yeah. Both cards I am keeping, and I'm going to put them out every year now. That is
the
it.
Mr. Remington one's going to get framed.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Anyway, sorry. So, yeah, Anita and the Doctor, the year at the hotel, a beautiful sequence. And we get our second touch on the Ruby situation because the Doctor's looking at the phone on New Year's Eve.
Yes, yeah.
Who are you not phoning? You keep looking at the phone, it's very obvious.
Nobody.
Name?
Ruby.
Ruby Sunday.
What's the problem with Ruby?
No problem. Just gotta let people get on with their lives.
Yeah. You and me, letting people get on with their lives. For old Lang Syne.
Old friends.
Come on, he could have picked up the phone.
Yeah.
I know it wouldn't make for very interesting television, but he's got a time machine. Hop forward 2 years when the novelty of her parents has worn off and pick her up again and just resume. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what pans out. Yeah, I just love the whole montage. The Doctor and Anita having cocktails on a fire escape in the sunshine.
Yeah, different times of year.
Oh, it's brilliant. You really do fall in love with Anita.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a nice character, little mini character piece, like nestled between the two more kind of like crazy sci-fi bits of the episode. It's such a nice little fragment that is really about like the Doctor's personality and about Anita's personality coming out through the spending time with the Doctor. And it's just, I don't know, something about it just really like ticked the boxes for me, especially like the emotive way that they part at the end. It really feels like weighted and it really feels like
unexpected, isn't it? This whole sequence, like you say, it's sort of nestled between the two halves of the episode. And yeah, it's really well done. And you really don't want the Doctor to leave. And Anita even says, like, I knew this was only for a year. I knew that.
You see, the connection to the Time Hotel isn't active. I can't get through.
Not a clue what he's talking about. You guys?
I guess I just have to wait. I hate waiting. Don't you? Yes.
The scene in the honeymoon suite was so funny.
It shows how close they've become and how much like she's relaxed in this situation, because she seems a little bit like she just gets her head down and gets on with her work when she first meets Joy. And then the same with the Doctor. And then clearly now she's having so much more fun with him around. And then it's sad to see that when he's gone, she goes back to scrubbing the floors and she looks miserable. But obviously that's towards the end. But yeah, no, it's a nice scene. The whole segment of the episode is my favourite part of the episode, definitely. Although having a car that goes where it thinks you want to go rather than where you actually need to go sounds really inconvenient.
I know, yeah. We then have the Doctor and Anita's goodbye scene, which honestly I've watched twice now and I still well up over. Murray is really like doing the most with the emotional music.
Never be alone at Christmas. You don't need to be, because I'll be right here. Anita, with the secretary. Think of me sometimes. For Auld Lang Syne.
For Auld Lang Syne.
The Doctor says to Anita, like, I don't usually live like this, one day after the other in the right order.
Yeah.
And I always wondered what it would be like. I wonder how much Anita knows. Like, surely he's told her, I'm a time traveller, because if somebody says that, you wouldn't not question it.
Well, it's mentioned the Weeping Angels to her.
Oh, yeah.
So presumably she knows about his adventures.
Everything,
and yeah.
But wonder why she wouldn't ask to go with him or he wouldn't offer her to. But anyway. And the Doctor says a whole year of you. Wow. Everyone who knows you is so lucky. I bet they tell you all the time. So it's the Doctor is the only one who's ever told Anita that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of supposed to imply that she's a bit of a loner.
Yeah.
Outside of her work. And she certainly seems to be a bit sad, doesn't she, before and after the Doctor's there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sad.
Very sad.
Sad scene when she leaves.
And then that entire sequence ends and you're thrust back into the main meat of the episode.
Yeah. Almost as soon as it starts, it ends, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's a lovely sequence. But then, yeah, it's back to business as the hotel doors open. He rushes back into the time hotel. And then it's like he's snapped back, isn't it, into business mode.
Like his holidays ended.
Yeah, he walks straight across the room and into the opposite door, which goes into the same hotel. And that's the hotel room from before that Joy and the Doctor are in, isn't it, with the suitcase?
Yeah. And it's a bootstrap paradox. Because where did they get the code? If he heard it from himself and then took it to the future to then tell his past,
yeah.
But where did it originate from?
Right.
That's a bootstrap paradox.
Yeah, it needs to have happened for the first time somewhere.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No.
But it's a thing. It's an actual concept. But anyway.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one occasion when I would say it doesn't bear thinking about anymore.
No. And so the Doctor grabs Joy and leaves his past self to take the long way round. He starts berating her and is really, really horrible to Joy and says, like, her hotel room says everything about her.
Yeah, I thought this was a little bit harsh.
But this was all to get the suitcase off her.
Yeah, it is, I agree. But, I mean, like, the hotel room, it's not that bad.
He says because your room was the worst, loneliest, saddest hotel room in the world.
Yeah, he's trying to make her upset, isn't he?
Yeah,
Really?
he is, yeah.
So that's fine. I just think it was a bit harsh. But yeah, I mean, it's painful to watch him because the Doctor seems to really relish in it. And it reminds me of like the Seventh Doctor, like being rude to Ace. It's like he's doing it on purpose, but the Doctor seems to be very good at it.
Mm-hmm. And this is when they're in the hut, isn't it? Joy is like under the hypnosis of the suitcase.
Yeah.
Trying to get to a door that's as far in the past as she can find, whilst the Doctor's trying to snap her out of it by talking about her name and a hotel room being sad. And then he talks about her mum and that snaps her out of the hypnosis.
Yeah.
They go into the hut and Joy explodes in this rant at him about how her mum died on Christmas Day. She said goodbye on an iPad because of the COVID rules.
And she says that while they're having their wine parties and whatever.
Dancing.
Yeah.
She died on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day! And I said goodbye on an iPad because of the rules! She died alone! And those awful people in their wine fridges and their dancing and their parties, and I listened to them, and I let my mother die alone! I can never be home on Christmas Day. And I can never be with anyone on Christmas Day because I let her down. I let her down on the last day of her life on Christmas Day.
I can never change that. I can never change.
Mums, eh? Even when they're gone, they never stop saving us. Look, Joy. Look what's not in your hand.
Everyone moved on from that way too quick, and it's nice to see it addressed in Doctor Who.
Very powerful and important, I think.
Yeah.
To keep fresh in people's memories.
It's crazy that people don't talk about it anymore, really. The fact that we were told one thing to strictly adhere to, and then for the government to break their own rules. And no one talks about that anymore.
Everyone was affected by that, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone was affected by that.
It was such chaos, wasn't it? And it's nice to see Doctor Who comment on that.
It's a very, very much like a raw nerve for a lot of people. Like I know while we were watching it, you know, like a lot of people have stories that are very similar to what Joy says to the Doctor.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we lost our granddad. He was taken away in an ambulance, and usually you go with them, and we weren't allowed. They said COVID rules, you're not allowed to travel with us. You're not allowed to go to the hospital. You have to stay home. We'll call you. And then he died that night and on his own. And like, if we weren't following those rules, we would have been with him, do you know? And so many people have stories like that. And we were all following those rules while the government, the people that we were meant to trust the most, were all dancing and having parties. I think I was so proud like that was addressed in Doctor Who, because it's not often they tackle something so like overtly like that. Usually things like that are disguised, like you'll have like a Boris Johnson sort of caricature as like an alien villain or something in Doctor Who, or something like that. Like, but this was head on.
To be honest with you, both this and Boom were quite aggressive in like their attacks on that, on like the government and like war and political stuff. And I was quite surprised how bold both of them were. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see it. I think it's good that it's like this rather than it being like apolitical and apathetic.
Yeah, so the suitcase detaches and the Doctor says that mums, even when they're gone, they never stop saving us, which was a nice line.
Yeah.
The Doctor says that you might think that wasn't a good way to save your life, but there's no such thing as a bad way to save somebody's life, which was interesting.
Yeah, nice.
You know, you could say that was quite harsh, but it just had to be done to save her. There's a line here that says, Joy says, I was a star. And the Doctor says, that's the conditioning talking. It will pass. And
then we learn that the Villain Guard Corporation are like, that's when we sort of properly learned that they're in control, right? That's when we learn it's like one of their weapons. Just as it seems they've like worked out what's going on, their whole kind of structure they're on, which is like a hut, which presumably was built by the hotel management because the humans wouldn't have built that, would they? It's got like binoculars and stuff on it.
Yeah.
So it must have been built by the hotel as like one of the openings. So the dinosaur comes and knocks it over. The suitcase slides down and into the dinosaur's mouth, and then the dinosaur becomes possessed by it.
Which is kind of what Villain Guard wanted. It wanted the star to seed 60 million years ago. And they escaped the dinosaur. So Villain Guard has already sort of planned all of this.
Right.
Where the suitcase was deposited and found by like human settlers or civilization.
I see. Yes, I see.
And because it's like unlike anything of the time period, they sort of worshipped this suitcase and buried it in a tomb.
Like a shrine.
There's a fun scene, which was a bit useless, but it's so fun. You just go along with it. It sort of felt like they were just trying to inject a bit of action into it, where the Doctor can't open the door of the tomb because it's too heavy. So he steals rope from Mount Everest, attaches it to a train track and pulls it off through the Time Hotel. It's fun. It's clever.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bit random, but it's fine. You know.
Do you think it derails it a bit?
Not really. It's just one of those things. It's just a bit of fun. Can't pick it too much.
No.
And Joy then absorbs the star, doesn't she?
Before the Doctor has a chance to get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
We don't really see how that happens, do we?
Well, she talks to it. She sort of connects to it. But like you say, by the time the Doctor gets back to her, she has already ascended the staircase. She says that she's kept the other consciousnesses with her.
Right.
And you see glimpses of everyone else who sort of died in aid of the star.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it's meant to be like those people didn't die in vain. Their endings aren't very bleak, but they are quite bleak.
Really. Yeah, I think so.
That is quite macabre. Joy says that she's going to become a star.
Oh, I'm a star! Please, I'm a star!
That's going to shine throughout history. She's like a beacon of hope, isn't she?
Yeah.
And it's stupid, but I only got this the second time around. She's literally radiating hope. And that like guides history, like human history. So like the couple in World War II, they were feeling hopeless. And then they look at the star and they feel like invigorated and full of hope that they're going to win the war and the war's going to end. And
I didn't get that when I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like she's instilling hope in people, like hope that the woman on the train is better off on her own.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, hope that Ruby will see the Doctor again. And I put and hope that the gay couple will manage to climb Everest.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, the weather turns in their favour, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I suppose it's like all those occasions in history where people have looked to the stars for help or guidance. It's because of Joy, basically, is the implication there, isn't it? And obviously, the nails hit on the head when the camera pans out, and it was revealed that where the Doctor's standing is by Bethlehem in the year 0001.
Yeah,
and you can see the camels of the three kings approaching.
I really liked that. I thought that was really funny and clever, and it wasn't as overt as I was worried it was going to be. I was like, oh my God, how are they going to do this? And because it was teased, but I thought it was done very tactfully.
Yeah.
I liked it.
It's interesting. It's quite fun, isn't it? I suppose.
You know how the Doctor says that there's no room in the inn?
Yeah.
And that the Time Hotel is the reason why.
Yeah, because there's a room in the Bethlehem Inn, isn't there?
And it's filled with the Time Hotel, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why Jesus is born in a stable.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also canon somewhere, I can't be bothered to look it up, but it's canon apparently that the 10th Doctor also has a room in the inn. So
really?
At the same time, the 10th Doctor's there, and the Time Hotel, and Joy the Star, and the 15th Doctor. So that is becoming a bit of a hot zone
spot.
For time travelers. But anyway, but we skipped over the Ruby Sunday cameo.
Yes, and don't forget her main credit at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I love Ruby.
It was nice to see her.
I just wish
I
that
agree.
it was more consequential.
Yeah, I
It could
agree.
have quite easily created even like a bit of intrigue.
They could have shown her doing anything in that moment. I know it needed to be nighttime, but she could have been anywhere that would have told us more about her character or how she's moved on since she left the Doctor. But she's just in her room.
Yeah.
On her phone for some reason.
On that massive yellow phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mrs. Flood is behind her, which is like, Ruby, come downstairs so I can kill you. Just something to set up intrigue.
Sorry, I just bumped my mic. Anything would have been more interesting, really. But yeah, it's nice to see Ruby. Yeah.
That's it. That is Joy to the world. Oh, one more little Easter egg. When Joy is on the iPad, the logo for the hospital flags up Royal Hope, which is Martha's hospital. So hopefully that's a little Easter egg for Martha's return.
Oh, that'd be amazing if it was. I'd love to see Martha.
That said, there was a preview clip for Series 2, the first episode, which is also set in hospital. So it might just be that Verada, her character, is...
also a worker there.
Yeah, I think she's a nurse.
Right, okay.
The clip that they released looks really cool. It's definitely giving Smith and Jones vibes.
Oh yeah,
which
very excited for Series 2.
A lot of people have problem with, and it's like, oh my God, but Smith and Jones is great. So what? I'm here for it. Give me a Martha 2.0. I don't care.
It's a bit worrying that people have jumped to the conclusion that it's going to be handled the same as previous seasons, based purely on, frankly, appearances and what we've seen so far. It's like you just need to not because there's so little we know about it at the moment. I'm really excited for season 2, and I to be fair, this episode I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
You hit the nail on the head when we were watching it the second time around. You said, I can see this being a real comfort episode.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to, when an episode's just come out and you're literally watching it for the second time ever, imagine how you'll view it in like 5 years' time, 4 years' time.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at all the DVD cases and you're like, which one shall I watch? I want a random episode.
Yeah.
I want a comfort episode. But you're so right.
Yeah.
I can completely see this episode as being pure Christmas comfort.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Sorry, go
the
on.
stakes are quite low, but I quite like that.
I mean, yeah, the thing I realised while we were watching this tonight is that like no other show could do that storyline.
No.
And that's when I think, okay, this is good Doctor Who, because no other show could do a story about that. And even things like the setting of a time hotel, it is a one-off story. It wouldn't work as well because you do have the stuff with Ncuti and his relationship with, Anita. It's like all that stuff strengthens it. It was a great episode of Doctor Who, and some bits of it I loved, others I wasn't as keen on, but I do think it was a good Christmas episode, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for more. I'm excited for the next series, which hopefully we're told isn't as far away as we think. So hopefully...
Is it earlier next year than people think it's going to be then?
Well, the rumour is like March, April time.
Oh, it'd be amazing
if
that was true.
I think it started in May, and I'm always for an earlier start. Like, it sounds strange, but I don't love watching Doctor Who in the height of summer.
No, I don't either.
You want to be outside, you want to be enjoying the sunshine, you don't want to be dragging yourself in at 7 o'clock to watch Doctor Who.
There's loads of other things to do, isn't there, in that time of year?
I think it's an autumnal show. Or a spring show.
Yeah, I think if it's spring, it's nice because then you've got the rest of the year then to like enjoy it and look forward to whatever you've got at the end of the year. I think if you put it right at the start, if you put it in the middle when it's really hot, like when it's broadcast, it means it's not dark or whatever, just little things like that, really.
The vibe has to be there.
Yeah, I agree.
What are you giving this one out of 10?
Because I don't really fully gel with like the whole she's a star thing, and that's happy now for some reason. It's not, because she's still a victim of this weapon, and obviously like the implications that the star was planted there by Villain Guard as like, there's a lot of dark things you could take from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really get how it's supposed to be positive. So that is a funny thing for me. But the stuff with Anita is some of the like strongest character stuff I think we've seen from Ncuti's Doctor for me personally, and that like pushes it right up, like way past an average score anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 7. I like that there's more like layers to it than an average episode. Like I saw a lot of discussion online about, how like Joy sacrificed herself. There was a line where he said that the suitcase conditions you. How much of that decision was Joy's to sacrifice herself, and how much was the conditioning, and did the conditioning go deeper than the Doctor realised?
Yeah.
So he let her do that, but I suppose Joy decided to get the star away from Earth. In Boom, the church is Villain Guard's best customer. So they, in this episode, are using the star to ensure the church is set up, some sort of church to...
I mean, the implications there are very, very weighty, aren't they? The idea that, like, they want to put the star there knowing that it'll incite religion, which will incite wars over the next, 400, 500 years and years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what some people have said, and it's very, like... I think given that wasn't explicitly implied in the episode, but it could be, is like, especially when Joy could have positioned the star there herself, do you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a very weighty thing to say. So I don't know how I feel about all that, really. I just think it's a bit sad that that's the best thing for Joy, when really it's sad that she even had to die at all.
Yeah,
because all the people the Doctor touches in this story die.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a bleak episode in terms of like characters and their stories and their endings. At least Anita has a happy ending. She gets a job
that's
at
true.
the Time Hotel, which is nice.
And I think I would really like to see Anita again, frankly. I thought she was
So,
lovely.
Yeah, I would too. You said you were on fire when we were watching it. You said, I hope when it comes to Shooty's regeneration story, and he goes back to visit his friends,
he should 100% go and see her.
Anita. Yeah,
definitely. Because it's weird, like that ending scene. I don't know what it was about it, but that touched me more than when Ruby left last season.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe it was a bit of the alcohol.
Yeah, very, very emotional.
Yeah, so yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's like a very rare thing, but it's definitely now in the books, the Doctor Who history books, the companion that never was. She's a Linda with the Y, got what it takes to be the Doctor's companion, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, the circumstances aren't in their favour.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll give it a 7 as well. And like a real combat episode, I could watch that again and again. Like it's a lot of fun.
It's very strong, a lot of fun. And I think what I would say would be the first act is really strong and intriguing. The second act's amazing. And then the third act is less strong for me. And that's what weakens it, I think, because there's so many questions that are thrown up by what happens. But I still enjoyed it. And it wasn't weak enough to lower its score significantly, you know.
What did you think of the preview for the second series?
Yeah, it looks really good. I wish that it had been a bit longer. Like I always think with these things, it's like, it's the whole season. So I wish it had been a bit longer. I wish we had more episodes to look forward to. And I wish that there'd been a few more monsters shown. We saw some robots that look quite cool. And then obviously we saw the animated like monster climbing out of the screen, which looks amazing. And a lot of people have picked up on that and its similarity to like Cuphead, the like rubber hose animation style.
And we have the reluctant companion, and everyone's saying, "Welcome back, Tegan."
Yes, they are. Yeah.
I'm here for that because Belinda is her character name. She's like, "Take me home." She doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. Oh, she's called Belinda.
Belinda, yeah. Belinda Chandra.
Oh, nice. I'm excited.
Same. Bring it on. All right, then we'll wrap it up there because this has been a really long one. What do you think you'll draw?
The briefcase and the door.
Perfect.
The door. I don't know what else I could draw, really. I don't really want to draw a massive T-Rex.
No,
it wouldn't fit anyway.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
And until the next episode, which I don't know what it will be, but until then.